want to restart it. There we go. Hey, what's up, Dan?
What's going on?
Well, I just want to wait for a couple more people to come on. Sometimes the things can be a little lagged. I also like to ask people how the sound is right now. If there's any echo out there. Dan, you can go ahead and say hi to the folks.
Hey, how's it going?
Just so they can let me know if there's any echo with the new sound equipment that we're running, right?
Yep.
So if you guys have any problems with the sound, make sure to send me a message. Sounds great. Thanks, Richard. I see you're watching. That's cool, brother. One of the brothers from the joint hit me up for some meeting information, and then he went to a meeting tonight, and he's listening or watching on his way home. Someone else is driving the car, I assume. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to Against the Odds. This is Saturday night, and we are live on Against the Odds. I am your host, Phil Tyler, and I have a special guest with me today, my friend, Dan Johnson. I will introduce Dan in just a few moments. I do want to tell you guys to continue to help us share hope to the hopeless. Please share this page on your stream. Share this page in recovery groups. Share this page wherever you would like to share this page. I don't care. Just please share the page and help us to reach the hopeless, because someone out there needs to hear what we're saying. I'm a firm believer in that. Earlier today, we hit 1,900 Facebook likes on Against the Odds. I wanted to personally thank you guys, because honestly, this is huge. We are gaining. It seems like just last week we were at 1,800 likes. Now this week we are at 1,900 likes. Thank you guys so much. We're on the fast track to 2,000 likes. And when we hit 2,000 likes, I'm going to have swag created, and I will give away 10 sweatshirts. 10 sweatshirts or t-shirts. It all depends on what time of the year I get them created. Whatever works, right? So anyway, without further ado, we are here tonight to share hope to the hopeless. We have a special guest tonight. He is a personal friend of mine. I've known Dan for a long time. The last time I seen Dan, he was telling me we were in the county jail, and I was waiting to go to prison on my second sentence. He was telling me some stuff about my old self that, it wasn't very appealing, but it was reality. And that's what we have here. We have reality. I really want to let Dan kind of introduce himself, because we have to realize that everybody has their own story, right? We're all in recovery. We all get there a certain way, and we all don't necessarily do as many drugs or as many alcohol, as much booze, and we don't all do as much as the other person, right? So Dan has a different side or story. Dan has a different side of the story in recovery, and that's what's nice about Dan. He gets to give us a different perspective on his outlook and his insight on how he changed his life for the better. So Dan, go ahead and take us away, brother.
Well, my name is Dan, as Phil said. I guess I'll just kind of jump into my background. I started getting in trouble at a pretty early age. I think my first felony was when I was 14. I think I had, by the age of 17, I had 13 felonies on my juvenile record. And then I was certified as an adult and put in the Dakota County Jail for a year, or just under a year, until my 18th birthday, given 2 adult felonies at that point. And then it ended up being on probation for the next, I was 18 when I got out, and I was on probation until I was 23 when I went to prison and expirated. And during that time, was the first few years, I was still getting new charges all the time, in and out of jail, pretty consistent. I've had issues with drugs here and there, but my biggest issue was escaping reality. So I never really got addicted hardcore to the drugs. I had bad moments in my life on them, but I was able to just kind of put them down and walk away like no big deal when it came down to it. And so I didn't, I think my main issue is that I was just looking for ways to escape, and I always had other means to go back to, but, the biggest thing that kept me there was a negative thought cycle, which I was just going to kind of bring up, what exactly that is. Your feelings create your behavior, then your behavior reinforces your thoughts, then your thoughts create your feelings. And it just becomes this continuous cycle that continues to go on and on and on. And the only way you can change that is by changing your brain waves with, there's different things, but neuroplasticity is the word that gets used mostly. And that's basically the ability to change your brain waves through thoughts and actions and behavior. And so I started when I was probably about 20, 21, I was still on felony probation and getting in trouble all the time. And I didn't want to quit smoking weed at the time. But I started to kind of realize, what I'd been doing with my life. And then I was in jail for, how many ever times I've been in there when I was around 21. And a group of guys came in, and everybody, I recognized a few of them from previous stints, and a group of guys behind me yelled, "Welcome home," to a couple of them, and everybody in the whole unit started laughing. And that was kind of my moment when I decided that I didn't want that life anymore, because I just immediately realized, that's going to be you if you don't stop, man. People joking about welcoming me home at jail, this isn't the life that I want to live. And it took me years to turn my life around. Expirating was the best thing for me because my probation officer just wanted to keep me in his clutches as long as he could. He even argued with the judge when I tried to expirate, and the judge is like, "It's not your choice." But the biggest thing that really kept me out of trouble once I started turning my life around was abstaining from negative peers. It was really hard to give up all my childhood friends and people I grew up with, but there was something that I had to face. They were going nowhere. And if I wanted to head down the same path that they are, then there was only one route that I was going to go. And I would say that about at least half of them are either currently in prison or their life is so far down the drain, they wouldn't matter if they were in prison or not. Most of them people are not doing good with their lives. And, there's a saying that if you hang around 4 idiots, you're going to be the 5th idiot, and so a lot of the company you keep is everything. It's difficult. It's really difficult to be friends with other, addicts and other ex-criminals, because if you get close with that person and they decide to go down that dark path, well, now you've got misery knocking at your door, trying to pull you in with it, and for a long time, I just avoided everybody for the most part, and then once I got to a stable point in my life where I was happier and I, was able to think for myself in a cognitive manner, then I don't want to go around them negative peers, but it doesn't matter if I am now. Drag me back into that,
Right. Definitely. I feel you, brother. I got a block list. I just went through the block list yesterday, unblocked some people, but I had a block list when I got out of the joint because of the peer situation. And that's one of the things that I would like, that's something that I seen in a lot of recovery settings was a lot of relapse, man. And it was that's what I seen. And it was and I seen a lot of people take other people with them. Yeah. Right. I seen a lot of other people, I was in halfway houses and things like that, but definitely peer staying around, like you said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Yeah. Right? Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. So there you have it right there. And then you were talking about how changing your friends, was difficult, and especially for addicts and criminals, because what we do is we influence each other.
Yeah.
We influence each other, and we can influence each other negatively or positively. And sometimes we think that like we're hooking up with each other in these treatment settings or whatever, these recovery settings, right? Even if it's just friends. And what happens is we hook up with them, and we put them on a pedestal, or, when they fall, we fall. That's what you were,
Yep. Well, and the thing is, I get it. Some people don't have a choice, because
Right.
a lot of people that are adults, they make friends out here in the dope game and whatever other game, and then they go to prison and then they get out, and that's all the people they know. Well, they hit up the people that are recovered or currently clean, and they hope that that's good enough, but most of the time it ends up not being, because that has to be ultimately your choice. You're not ever going to change until you want to. It doesn't matter how much somebody tries to force you. You have to make a conscious decision that I don't want to be like this anymore. And if you get forced to think that, meaning that you're in jail, there's always a hit or miss on whether or not it gets to stick. You got to spend time out of jail still being like that for a substantial time, a few years consistently, before you can say I've changed, because nobody likes to be in jail. Of course you fucking went to jail and started talking to Jesus and got all spiritual. Everybody does. You know what I mean? Right. When you're at your low point, you reach out for something. And, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But you have to face the reality that until you're doing that out on your own, when you don't have to do it, you haven't really made that change yet.
Right. And we call those foxhole prayers. I did it millions of times.
Yeah. Millions. Oh, I did too.
Millions. Oh, millions. I even got let out once to go to Teen Challenge. They let me out. I even manipulated the judge, the courts, I was in Teen Challenge, stole a car while I was in there, got arrested on a pass, and manipulated my way back into Teen Challenge and out of like 3 different counties probation. You know what I mean? And got out. What did I do? The first thing I did when I got out, I went and got drunk. And what did I do? I went and got high, and I hung out those people with the same people. I remember that vividly. And I remember going back there and trying to get into that program. And I remember that man that runs that program still to this day gave me tough love. And he told me, you ain't ready to change. He was right. And I used to hate him. I used to hate him because he kicked me out of there. And you know what I mean? I used to resent that. He helped change my life because he gave me tough love, right? Because we can't change until we want to change more than anyone else.
Yeah.
It's got to come from within. That's key, what you said, man. It does. It has to come up from within. No one can want us to change more than we want to change, because what happens is we have to do the work.
Yeah.
We don't just change overnight.
Well, and no, you don't. And that's the whole thing is, changing is only a very, very, very small part of it. You have to stay that person after that. And that's what I was talking about with like the negative thought cycle. So like they say that neuroplasticity, you can change your brain waves with love or gratitude within 21 days. Saying something you're grateful for 21 days in a row will make you happier. It will make you more grateful. Well, it works the opposite way too. If you wake up and you think that your life sucks and you hate work and you're dreading going to your job, that's what your brain waves are going to turn into. And you're going to think negative shit all the time. And you're going to be angry and frustrated. And that's just the only way it's going to go.
That's the truth. It takes time. It does. And that's something that I like to say on a lot of my content, and a lot of the things that I say is that, and I realized that, I just looked up one day, Dan, and I was like, damn, man, I've been, this June, I'll be out of the joint for, 10 years this June.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I just looked, I was like, no, it's one, it's that continuing to do the same thing over and over, but getting better results, not the insanity part. We're doing steps, positive steps, right? not backwards, right?
Yeah.
So I get results, and what happens is I just days add up, man. You know what I mean? So I want to back up a little bit, and I want to talk about your kind of awakening, right? Because most people have some sort of situation or some kind of struggle or pain or experience that they experience that can help them see or change their life, right? To
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
that motivation to say,
Yeah.
you know what? I ain't trying to do that shit again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, when I had that moment in jail, that was kind of inspiration for me, but that wasn't really my awakening. You know, I still spent, I quit committing crimes at that point, but I still was not putting effort into life. You know, I just kind of hermited myself and stayed away from everything and didn't apply myself. You know, it wasn't until it was, let's see, 2017. So it was 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I think it was right before 2017. Anyways, long story short, I had a extremely profound psychedelic experience in which I unfortunately freaked out too and ended up like fighting the police and got a disorderly conduct and put more, you know, more hardship on me. So, you know, despite the fact that I ended up something good came out of it, you know, it just goes to show using a substance just ended up getting me in more trouble, you know. But luckily something really positive came out of that. And I like literally my soul left my body and I saw things that are unexplainable, you know, and when I came back, I just didn't even feel like the same person anymore. You know, I recognized that a lot of the person that I am was created by other people. See, that's exactly what the ego is. When we're born as children, we're all the exact same person. We're all exactly the same. We don't even have awareness of ourselves. That's what makes us the same. No one has awareness of themselves when they're born. They learn awareness of themselves through the interaction of others. Thus, if you're loved a lot at an early age as a child, then chances are you're going to grow up and love more. If you're abused or treated bad, there's more chance for you to grow up like that because it's basically the part of your personality that's being created by other people. And that's what that experience showed me, is that when I started to look at the decisions I made on my personality that affected who I was because of the actions of other people, then I started to realize that I didn't have to be that person. I could just be who I wanted to be. You know, I used to be very aggressive, very, you know, what you looking at? And I stopped being like that because I realized I don't have to be like that. You know, I spent so long like that it became a habit, you know, from years of prison and everything else. I spent years like that without even ever really having a conscious thought about it. And luckily, you know, I eventually had a awakening experience. And ever since then, I've had this self-awareness that is just unreal. I mean, I'm 100% aware of my actions. I'm more thoughtful on the things that I say. You know, one thing that I really say to people, especially people that are negative, the things that you say and do affect other people in your life. You know, and your tone inflection matters too. You know, if your family member is a drug addict, you know, telling them you're a fucking drug addict that's not helpful. You're just being negative. You know what I mean? But if you say, hey, I think that you have a problem, I'd like to see you get help, that's a completely different thing, you know. And sometimes people don't realize that, you know, they don't realize that the things that they say and do really affect how a person looks at themselves and their decisions to change. Even, you know, a person cannot want to change out of spite, you know, just to spite someone else.
Yep. It's true. I mean, people do some crazy stuff. I mean, I have. I know I have. I know. I mean, I've relapsed, like, and pretty much did it because of someone else.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like, hey, watch me hurt me. Watch me hurt myself. You know, just because I'm pissed. Right?
Yeah.
Just because I'm pissed. And you know, I'm glad you said that, because honestly, that's why that's why I created this platform, is because of all of the negative energy that I put out into the world before I had my change, right?
Yep.
Nothing but negative energy.
Oh, me too,
Don't get
man.
me wrong. I got tones and I can be aggressive still. And, I'm not perfect by any means. But what I'm putting out there and what I'm influencing, I'm making sure is positive, is well thought out, right?
Yep.
Because for many years, I polluted the communities. Now it's time for me to, and us,
Yep.
to, it's time for us to definitely broadcast our recovery and our changes, because not everyone has that same perspective. You know what I mean? Not everyone is the same on their walk. We're all grown-ups, right? We knew each other when we were kids running around too. Then we seen each other in and out of jail and stuff like that. But things change, right?
Yeah.
And we have different experiences and we become different people. And what happens is we find our purpose, man. And when we find our purpose, we can go hard on that. We can go hard on that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I'm still kind of searching for mine a little bit, but there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I had a lot of stuff inwards that I needed to deal with. It's taken me quite a long time. I've chose to deal with that for, the last few years, and I've learned a lot about myself. But like I said, recovery and making that change is just a small step. Just a small step, man. It's about after that. It's about what you're going to do with your life every day when you wake up and you want to go use drugs, or you pissed off and you're, like, I'll use a prime example. I was just working in construction recently, and, the people I was working around, they're great guys outside of work, but they're not the kind of guys that I want to be working around. And it was to the point where it was draining me, and I decided, you know what, I have to leave, because there's no way that I can keep a positive mindset if I have to be around people like this. There's just, and so sometimes you have to make that decision too. And I realized that that's not always the easiest thing. I mean, I took a pay cut, and I went to a place that I necessarily don't want to be, but I made that decision because I realized that I'm going to be happier in the long run, because I can control my emotions better when I don't got somebody breathing down my neck like they do at that job,
That's right. Here, I'm going to throw this up there. I don't know if you can see any comments. Can
you?
Yeah,
no, I've been seeing the ones you've been throwing up. Yep.
Oh, the ones I've been throwing up? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I've seen the ones you threw up. I couldn't see anything else.
Can you see that one?
Yep, I did. Oh, thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, there's comments coming in, people. We're going to continue to talk. I will post these comments. If you guys got some questions or anything like that, I'll definitely post a comment, and Dan, we will answer it, or Dan can answer it. But Dan's definitely given us a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of understanding that comes from your story, and what you're telling us. It's about your thought process. For you, it was about your thought process. That's what you had to do. For myself, I had to just surrender. My will was so crazily full of self.
Yeah.
I had to surrender every aspect of my life in order to get to where I am today. And I had to do it slowly and steady. Not everyone has to do it that way, people. You know what I mean? And that's what's nice. And, against the odds, we don't care how you did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're against the odds, Dan. I know you were, because I know you when you ran around with one of our guests that was on here before, Kurt Baker, right?
Yep.
And he is definitely against the odds. And you got thrown in the schools with him and all kinds of stuff. So,
oh, dude, I was since like 6th grade, I was going to school with all them guys.
Yep. So that's some of the stuff that, some of the stuff that we can use as an excuse not to change. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
That's absolutely what that is. Right? The odds are just excuses that we've used for many, many years. right?
Yep.
And they
Yep.
seem like the odds because it's like we can't beat them because we don't ever apply ourselves when we really think about it. We never really get to where we need to be.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you actually have an extreme amount of power in your own brain to create your reality every day. You have the option to. It's just, let's put it this way. Let me rephrase that. You are creating your reality every single morning when you wake up. So what reality are you going to create? That's what you need to decide, the day before you wake up, if you can't figure it out in the morning. What reality you're going to create for yourself every day, because you choose your mindset, you choose your attitude, you choose whether or not you're going to get up and be pissed off. That's your choice, and you might have things in your life that prevent you from always seeing those emotions through, but you have a choice, right away every day when you wake up to decide what day you're going to have.
Right. And then sometimes I know for myself, I have to make that choice sometimes before I walk out of the bedroom again. Then sometimes when I get out of the bathroom again, like it is a consistent choice. And sometimes it has to happen every minute because honestly, it's just the way it is. Because things happen that are out of our control. And what happens when things happen that we can't control, most of the time we freak out. Even if we've been doing this for it don't matter how long, we can always slip back into that way of thinking. You know what I mean? It's like working out, bro. We got to consistently do it every day. Like you said, we wake up every day and we get to choose that.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And that, like I said, it can go either way too. If you're going to have a negative mindset, it's going to be there. But I would like to just reiterate a little bit on the gratitude. So anybody out there that might be angry or having negative thoughts, early in the morning or intrusive thoughts, try neuroplasticity with gratitude. Say, all you literally have to do is say 3 things a day to yourself out loud, what you're grateful for. And after 21 days, it will literally change your brain waves. I mean, it's literally that simple. But the thing is now you need to keep saying things that you're grateful for every day from that point on to keep that brainwave pattern. If you start to stop being grateful, then you're going to slip back into that same thought process. I think that anybody that relapses on drugs after they've been sober, that has 100% to do with your thought cycle. That you don't just decide to pick up drugs and start doing it. That's a slow spiral, and you make a decision because you're pissed off or your job isn't going good or you lost this, or you lost that. That's a thought process. And if you can stop that thought process before it gets to that point, you can stop yourself from relapsing.
Great. That's very much, it is very much easier said than done though, isn't it?
The biggest.
Boy, it sounds good. I mean, if I heard that and I was trying to change my life, I'd be like, well, damn, that I can do that.
The biggest thing is remembering to do it and staying on top of it. You got to let the little shit go. I mean, there's always going to be something that makes you not want to do it. You know what I mean? There's always going to be something that's going to make you say, I'll work on it tomorrow. But you have to look past that, and do the work.
That's right. They want to hire you in treatment.
Who's that?
My guy, Brian Larson.
Oh yeah.
They want you to go work for the treatment center down there where they're at. I can't remember what city he's in because I can't say that anyway because we can't confirm or deny that people are in these places. So
I heard
definitely he just said hire him for treatment. I'm gonna put it up there.
That's funny. Yeah,
it's the truth. You're speaking knowledge because it's spot on.
Go ahead.
Everybody has their own opinions, but everybody always comes back to a certain openness, right?
Yep, absolutely. I think that I have a heightened emotional intelligence. I've spent a lot of time looking inwards, and so I've realized a lot of these things can be dealt with on your own. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't reach out for help when you need help, but you have the power to do it on your own. 100%. You don't need the help, but it's helpful. And there's nothing wrong with reaching out to someone or anything like that, but you got to know that you have that power within you, you know. And I've always thought about being a counselor, a therapist and stuff like that, but I never really wanted to go to college. I guess kind of now I do. I might think about going down that route, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It's never too late to go to school, man.
No, not. I'm gonna go to school for something. I just don't know what I'm gonna go to school for. I might be an engineer, to be honest. I really like the way things work, and I'm like really smart when it comes to like solving engineering type problems. You know what I mean? Like my brain just works like that, and so why not?
Right. If you notice, so that's the thing. If you notice you have a talent.
Yep.
This is something that, man, if I would have known this kind of stuff when I was younger, if I would have been that mature, I wasn't.
Me too.
You know what I mean? But it's like you find out we find out, you know, when we take that new road to on recovery and we start to change our lives and we start to do it one day at a time, consistently, we start to, it gets easier and easier as it goes, but we still have to work at it and work at it. But then there's things that we look back on and that we notice that we never would have seen. Right. It's I never would have even noticed half of the stuff I look back on now today. If it's like, it's really profound and it's really spiritual is what I like to say, because it's unexplainable.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it's just spiritual, man. It's unexplainable. Like our talents, we notice. We for myself, man. I like to speak when I say we. I always revert back to myself because I like to speak on my experiences because that's just how I like to send my message across. Instead of preaching to people, telling them we got to do this and we got to do that, right? Yeah. My experiences was one day at a time, staying sober, doing the right thing, being in recovery, doing positive things every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was saying affirmations. They had me saying affirmations when I was in treatment, man. They had me doing all that kind of stuff, right? And even in, but over time, I started to see what I'm good at and what I like to do and what I'm talented.
Yeah.
What gifts I'm talented with. Because for many years, I didn't even know what a gift, I didn't know what that kind of stuff was. I was just lost, man. To be honest with you, I had no purpose. I had no drive. I had nothing, literally.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I've been in that same exact position. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where you want to go with the conversation from here, but.
Oh, well, the thing is I think that we've been shooting for about 30 minutes. So we got a good, we got a good message across.
Yep.
Your message is clear, bro. You know what I mean? Your message is across. Your message is hopeful. It's positive. It sheds us a different light, and it's not always the same all the time, every day. You know what I mean? It's not always the same. You don't have to go through an AA meeting to change your life. You don't have to go to a jail cell to change your life. You don't have to have a trippy hallucinogen, outer body experience to change your life. You can change your life without doing that stuff.
And absolutely. Those are, absolutely. You're right. I mean, those are, all of those, every type of route there will get you to the same destination, but the thing is you don't need any of those things. Like I was saying, that power is within you.
That's right. And sometimes sometimes that power is something that we have to surrender to get.
Yep. Absolutely.
Not all of us are on the same, how do I say this, spiritual level or spiritual mentality.
Yep.
Right? I like to think that God, which is I call spiritual, right, meets us where we are,
Yep.
right? In order for us to see what we need to see to touch our heart, right? Because
Yep.
honestly, when I think back of and about the life I've lived and about the stuff I did in my past and about where I am today and my family and my children and my wife, they've never seen me drink. I've never put my hands on my wife. I've never done anything negatively. You know what I mean? I've made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I'm human.
Yeah.
But I don't do the stuff that I used to do. I'm not that extreme person that is so quick to go to jail anymore.
Yeah.
And that's how we were. Super quick to go to jail. We didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I personally think that praying makes you more intelligent. And I think that if you don't pray, I think that you should talk to yourself. Is talking to yourself is a sign of intelligence. And what you're doing is you're basically talking to the subconscious part of your brain. It doesn't mean that you're always going to get the message. Just don't have third party conversations with yourself, meaning you ask yourself a question and then respond out loud, because then that means you're insane. But, there's a real benefit to talking to yourself or praying, because either way you're doing that, you're speaking to your on top of talking to whoever you're talking to, you're also speaking to your own higher conscious, and you're learning to sync your heart in your head, kind of like Phil likes to say sometimes.
Right. Phil does like to say that.
Right.
Because honestly, that's really where I started to that's the first time when my heart and my head connected was when I was sitting in Stillwater prison, and I had Tim Ealing talking to me, and he was telling me that I didn't have to come back to this place, right? He was telling me that I had a choice, that I could get out and never come back, right? But I had to, change my life in order to do that. And I had to make some drastic moves. And one thing that I realized was I was securing a spot for me to come back to a place that I didn't like. And I was like,
right.
Oh, that's when my heart and head connected. I realized how screwed up my thinking was. And that's when I surrendered. I was like, you know what? I obviously don't know how to stay out of these places. And I don't know how to make it. Bottom line, didn't know how to make it. Didn't know how to be a man. Didn't know how to do anything. I just would get out of prison and I would reoffend right away because I couldn't handle the real world, because I was a coward and took the easy way out. And took the easy way, because you are right when you made a good point, bro, when you said we have a choice. I always tell people this: the first time I went to prison, I made a mistake, right? Or jail, I made a mistake. But the third time, I made a choice. I was looking like this when they pulled, I was looking behind me. I was ducking and dodging. I knew what I was doing, bro. You know what I mean? I knew what I was doing. I made that choice to go back. And that happened when I relapsed too. I made that choice when I relapsed. Every time I got out, I made a choice to relapse. And it was a decision. But the thing was I didn't have any defense against that choice because I didn't know any better. I didn't have any knowledge of myself. You know what I mean? So I continued to make the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. And even though,
yeah,
it sucked. What do we got going on? We have 11 people on. Does anyone have a question for Dan or myself? Dan, preferably, because you can ask me questions anytime. I'm always going on. Right? Dan, preferably. But, we've been going live for about 40 minutes. I think we've put out some a good message of hope, recovery, inspiration, right? Mindset.
Yep.
No excuses mindset.
It starts in here, man. No matter how you look at it, it starts in here.
Right. Because we have to. That's why I always say share this so someone might have the courage, right? Because it comes that courage, they have the thought, I can change, but I don't know if I want to because it
Yep.
takes courage.
Or I
You
don't
have
know how to, or I want to, but I don't know how to. People can't afford, and not saying that not going to treatment's a good option, but for people that can't afford treatment or whatever, there are things that you can do to benefit and help for yourself to get away from this stuff. Like I said, you don't need those things. They're just very helpful in that situation.
That's right. Very true. Somebody wanted to thank us. Thank you, Richard.
I'm glad that
boy
helps,
right
Richard.
there. That's my boy right there. I ain't seen him in a long time, man. Long time. I would tell you stories about him, but then I'd be breaking bylaws and all kinds of stuff.
All right.
No, I'm just messing around. But honestly, we had a great live. 40 minutes is good. The thing is, it's Saturday night. It's Valentine's Day Eve.
Yeah.
So all the lovebirds are out tonight, probably going out to dinner and things like that. And that's perfectly fine. We hope that they will catch this live tomorrow and share this live on their feeds as well. I do want to thank you for coming on, and I'm going to let you close some remarks, and then you can exit. And that's how we do that. And what I'll do is, people will probably be commenting, thanking you. I'll post them up while you're doing your closing remarks and things like that. If you want to leave somebody with some of your thoughts that you think are valuable to the next man or woman that is trying to change their life. Because I know people right now that are trying to change their life, but they can't, and they can't get the treatment and things like that. So there's people watching tonight that need to hear this stuff.
All right. No matter what anybody has ever told you, no matter what anything that you've believed, you are worthy of love. You are capable of changing your life, and you have the power within you. All you have to do is make the decision to not only change your life, but to stick with it. Be stubborn about it. Be a dick to yourself. There's nothing wrong with telling yourself no when you have a bad thought. There's nothing wrong with scolding yourself. I would suggest even talking in the mirror to yourself sometimes to get in touch with your higher conscience, because you can literally change your brain waves with positive thinking. And it may not be easy, but gratitude 3 times a day for 21 days, and you can change your brain. I hope you guys have a good night.
All right, Dan. Take it easy, brother. Thank you.
Catch you later, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Peace out, bro. What's up, everybody? Now it's just me. Hopefully we had a good broadcast, broadcasting from a new webcam and a new microphone. You guys that have been watching me earlier today, you know that I've been playing with it a lot, going live, different pages and things like that. First of all, thank you guys so much for 1,900 Facebook likes. That is huge. Last week we had 1,800. We're getting more likes, more shares, because you guys continue to help us share hope to the hopeless. And there's people out there that obviously need to hear it and see it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be growing so fast, right? I want to thank you guys all again. I can't thank you enough for helping us share these messages out on the airwaves. We are broadcasting on YouTube and Facebook. We are hitting we're hitting Against the Odds Facebook page, and we're hitting Against the Odds Facebook group, a recovery group. If you're new watching this tonight and you're not in that recovery group, definitely shoot me a message or find it on this page. It is in our groups, and answer the questions and join. Please, it is a great recovery network, a good resource, especially during COVID. Digital recovery is on the rise, and that's why we continue to go live and give you guys inspiring content that helps you to change your life on a daily basis, right? Thank you guys so much for all that you do. I'm going to end this live tonight. You guys continue to do what you do the best and rock it. Have a good night, guys. Saturday Night Live's out. Against the Odds. I'm Phil. Have a good night.